still with it?
Of the season.
That's right. Welcome to the Couch Gap universe. Maude is talking to Helen about the episode of The Simpsons she was made aware of last night. It was on the episode where they set up Marge and got her sent down, and they're not very happy about the way they were portrayed in this episode, and they're wondering what to do about it.
Okay.
Would you rather be Maude or Helen?
I'll be Maude.
And action.
Ring, ring, Helen.
Hello. Hello, Maude. How are you today?
I'm angry, Helen.
You're angry?
Real
What
angry.
What have I done this time?
It's not you. It's the show that we all...
That show what we're all in?
Yes, that show
Oh.
that we all sat on the couch and watched
Well,
the other week.
I didn't think it was very good to start with, but what's your beef, Maude?
They made us look really bad. They made it look like we got Marge sent to prison, and although we did, I don't like the way that it showed us doing it.
But that woman was a criminal and she deserved everything that happened to her.
No, be quiet. She's the protagonist. Do you want to get killed off?
What do you mean? Do you mean that they're showing her perspective and skewing the truth?
It seems that way, because I don't remember following her to the bathroom.
Following her to the bathroom? What are you talking about? Why would you do such a ridiculous thing?
Exactly.
Hey,
That
did they show the
bathroom.
bit about the bake sale where we did our best to raise all the money?
No, that's in there, but it makes us look weak and like
Weak?
failures.
Those cakes were the spongiest we've ever seen, and we made more than $15 above and beyond what was required to buy the statue of President Nixon.
Well, they changed it and said we were too short by $15 because of Marge, and then they got a statue of that other guy, the nice one.
They didn't make us look like gossipers or anything, like what we're not, did they?
They did.
Oh, I'm fuming, Maude. I'm fuming, Maude. What the blinking heck we gonna do about this? They can't be going around slandering our good name.
We're going to gather a mob and go straight to Merquimby.
You're not going to run away from the mob the instant it starts, are you? Ho, ho, ho.
Perhaps. Come on, no time to waste.
But what about the adults? Oh, won't someone think of the adults?
We're the ones that matter now, Helen. Forget everybody else.
Let's make this justice right, just for us.
Yes, let's
Come on.
kill them all.
Maude, it's a Maude Good Cast, Season 3, Magage Roswell, Zuki Yuki Spooky Cookie Mom to Rod and Todd, but not yet. Granddaughter of a four-legged spider woman and a faithless hiker, eternal nurse. She's confused by ethnic cuisine except for Mexican and fish and chips, and her eyes are soiled by more Satan's boners, but not Conrad Goodman. Maudlin, Jehoshaphat, Radamanthus Dina, Foxy Dead Disco Chick with the 4K demand. It's the last episode of the Season 3 of the Maudlin Good Blast.
This is it. This is the end. Well, you know, close enough to the end.
Far-
The end of season 7
The end of
and the end of our season 3.
The end of their Season 7 and the end of our Season 3.
Precisely.
Without further ado, hello, Goodman Morning, and Lovejoy's bowling teammate club. Canon lies, and divine value deals. Refrain from devouring one and all tripe, buddy. Brought to you by who?
The Maude Disney sponsor, Wisney,
Of
Walt Disney Corporation, and Pure Water.
sponsor, Barry Wiggin, owner of the first Wiggin Tree and opener of Shopping Centre R. Sponsor, Margaret Lanterman near Coulson. I'll test your log with my branches. Sponsor, Rolling Eyes Woman, what we forgot about, what's her name? Sponsor, Pound Bakery, don't look in our storeroom or freezer. Sponsor, Hugh Laurie, Silly Prince George from Blackadder 3. Sponsor, Example, mediocre rapper and enemy of Wigan.
Yes, the true enemy.
He's the true enemy, going on Twitter and barking all about us lot.
Yep.
I hope that Example doesn't come to Wigan anytime soon, or he's going to find himself made a scapegoat.
Yes, precisely.
Hey, you know what? I got a postcard today from our uncle, Anton Ouijibo, from the Miskatonic Polytechnic over there in Arkham. And he
How's he
said
doing?
that he was embroiled in some Stygian blackness. and eldritch shenanigans. But hopefully, he's hoping that you could follow him on his new podcast, Demons and Donkeys and Dungeons and Dollhouses.
Oh, yeah. Good.
But you know what I'm most excited about today is we're going to go and see the World Flandball semi-final later. So pack up all your things. First, we're going to just stop off and have a little picnic next to the stadium. And then I know a secret entrance to get into the stadium where we don't have to pay or out. That'll be good, won't it? I've also got tickets just in case we get caught.
Oh, yeah, just in case. Backup tickets.
Would you like a quote from Jacques Derrida?
Of course.
So the interesting thing is that when Jack dropped off his bag of lolly sticks the other week with his quotes written on them, he also, in the bottom of the bag was a cassette tape.
Excellent.
And, I'm just going to play you the first little bit of the cassette tape and you can respond to it.
Follow the light. The light is your guide. King Ghidorah, take me to your leader. Quick to claim that he not no snake like me neither. Been on a Saturday feature, pleased to meet you, and came to wake you up out the deep sleeper. The hour is upon us, it's bananas, born alone, die alone, no matter who your man is. King Ghidorah, 3-finger ring fever, spring chicken eater ID'd as the ringleader. Do his thing for the little kids like swing blade, to the grave put in work like a slave, on how to flip scripts on the dipstick brigade, rock 'em like Susudio played. Half up front, half on mastering. Would you like that in cash? The last thing you should ask the king. You don't have to be no crystal ball reader. King Ghidorah, crush on his seed's teacher. They need to pay her better, she had nothing on the reefer. I had to offer a stick of gum. She was as thick as they come and taught a strict curriculum, which is only good for my son. When I'm in the hood, razors on tongue. Rule number 1, keep your phasers on stun.
I see. That doesn't really sound like the normal Derrida stuff.
It seems like Jacques was getting a little bit experimental there with his stuff, but there was still some references, I think, to his normal things that he's into. Born alone, die alone, no matter who your man is. Like Maude. Didn't Maude die alone, no matter who her man was?
She did. Well, kind of. She died.
Tell me more.
She wasn't necessarily alone. The only time she was alone was from the top of the stadium to the bottom.
In many ways, that was the most important time when she wouldn't want to be alone.
Probably the pivotal moment in the situation. She said something about following the light.
Follow the light is your guide.
Exactly. That's what she did, and it paid off because she made it into heaven.
Well, this is something that I wanted to see, because on the line says, wake you up out the deep sleeper, and I wanted to segue into our new Bring Back Maude segment, 50 ways to bring back Maude. There must be 50 ways to bring back Maude. Ooh, ooh. We're going to tag team 50 ways that Maude can come back to life. All right. You want to go first?
Sure.
Go for it.
Faked death comes back.
Found in shower after several seasons.
Brain transplant.
Voodoo magic.
Ghost bargaining deal.
Soul to devil. Beach death in game of chess.
Just a ghost.
No explanation given.
Permanent flashback.
Clone.
Face transplant, but also onto somebody who is just like Maude.
Twin sister with almost the same looks, personality, and experiences.
Time travel.
Space travel.
Like how they brought Gamora back in Avengers Endgame.
The time stone.
Yes. Just reanimation like a zombie.
Yes, body dug up and reanimated with the corpse reanimating liquids of Herbert West. Now that's all we've got time for today, but those are
I have
some
one
good
more.
ones. One more, go ahead.
Todd on Rod's shoulders in a wig.
Nice one. We also got the Maudeverse, just simply coming from a parallel dimension.
Exactly.
So there's plenty of ways. So let's not have any excuses. Do you want to do a Mauditorium?
Yes. 212.
212. Palindromic, as we say in the biz.
Yes. New York.
212. Maude loves Todd more, the Todd dog.
More than what?
The first part makes a little bit of sense. The second part, not so much. Maude loves Todd more, the Todd dog.
I see. That seems like two different things.
Dress them as you like, as you feel inclined.
I think at this point I would be inclined to agree with that, in that Maude seems to have had more interaction with Todd than with Rod, like directly speaking to Todd a lot more and paying closer attention to what he's doing. But maybe that's just because Rod's not very problematic and Todd's very impressionable. Todd did get a dog called Baz to replace Maude and Edna.
Was this just yet another example of favoritism being shown to Todd, just because he's the youngest, or because they're worried of him having the devil's curly hair?
Maybe. Well, Todd didn't even necessarily get the dog. It was just a family dog. But at some point, Todd got a woodpecker that was Todd's and only Todd's. But, yeah, I do think she does. She seems to be nicer to Todd than Rod, which is...
There are examples of her being not nice to Rod.
The only one I can think of is that she tells him he has small, girlish hands at some point.
That's a fact. Come on, let's not sugarcoat this.
Yeah, she doesn't say it meanly, but...
she doesn't treat him with kid gloves.
Exactly. She doesn't seem to be... not mean, but she seems to be more affectionate and put more investment into what Todd's doing. But again, Rod at this point hasn't really done anything.
Well, who knows? Maybe in her diary, in her deepest, darkest secrets, she lets us into some hints and clues as to why she massively favors Toddman Flanders rather than Rodman Flanders.
Exactly.
Let's forget about all this nonsense, because I'm excited about our trip to the Flandball competition very soon at the Wigan JJJB Stadium. We can forget about all this nonsense about being bought out by Isabella Rossellini and having to slop up all her Rossi P. And how it looks super suspicious that Twitch billionaire Stamp and bloody Statman might have something to do with it. And worst of all, H Robo going all bonkers as well. You see what he did to them boxes the other day?
Yeah, he really attacked them.
He did attack them in a way that we shall not speak of again. No. Even Dave had to shield his eyes with his tiny little calculator arms. But anyway,
Exactly.
Glad to see that Rod Hobgoblin has now shook off his trench foot and butcher's gout, and he's back to full goblin strength. So him and Rod, Todd Hobgoblin and Rod Hobgoblin, and probably I imagine they'll bring along their Carbon Todd, Rod, and his severed cat head on a stick.
Yes.
So hopefully we won't have to run into them Stamp and Co. this afternoon. I'm hoping we can have a good family-friendly atmosphere with none of that going on. But anyway.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to looking at the poor people in the infield.
I think so, me too. Shall we get to some content without any further nonsense?
Let's do it.
Before we do that, I want to show the world this beautiful gift that has been given to me by my biological brother, Nathan O'Leary. It's a wonderful book talking about the first year of the Maudecast. It's got a discussion on whether Maude is a hero or a villain. We've got pictures of the Goodman family, Rex, Turnbull, Frank Goodman, Magdalena with her 3 at that point, but now 4 legs. It's a great work, Nathan. And all the places that she's been: Edinburgh, Wigan, Tulsa, Philadelphia, Platwas, and Tyre and Sidon. Hopefully hear more about her visit to Tyre and Sidon and the remains over there. Got all of our sponsors in there. Got some pictures of James Brown and George Costanza dressed up as Maude, amongst other people. Who knows, maybe some of you will see some of this one day, but maybe you won't, because it's just for me and it's beautiful. Thank you very much, my BBN.
Not a problem. It was fun to make.
If you want one, you just have to host a Maude podcast with us, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Clip 1. So this is a bit of a slopping up. I love the Maude slop ups. They're my favorites in many ways, because you see Maude in weird and wonderful situations. Clip 1, the summer of 4 feet 2. There's a room, to my eyes, covered in post-it notes. I'm not sure what was going on there. A living room with saloon bar kind of swinging doors. Nobody's in there. The Simpson family seems to be arriving, and there's 2 big photos on the wall. One of them is Ned and the boys with a big fish on a pier. There's some kind of nautical fishing theme going through this thing. And then the other picture is the 4 Flanders, including Magdalene in a classic stance. Maude's wearing her regular clothes and in a regular Maude stance. Everything is above board. There's a nice glass top table. There's a little boat on the shelf. Maude has a tiny face and looks even more like Hugh Laurie in Blackadder 3 in this one.
Nice and short. This is the Flanders have a summer home, and this is that on the beach. And I think it may be out of Springfield, but still in another fictional place. Ned said to Homer, "Would you like to stay there for a week because we can't go?" And Homer said, "Well, are you going to like pay us for doing you a favour?" Something along those lines. And then they end up going, and Ned has left post-it notes everywhere to help them out.
What do some of these post-it notes say?
There's the only ones I can kind of remember you seeing are Marge goes to the fridge. The one on the fridge says, "Put food in me," and Homer says, "I'll take that," and just puts it on himself. And then Marge opens like ice cube trays, and they say, "Fill me," and Marge says, well, duh, Ned, with what?" And then she realizes there's a second note underneath it saying, "With water."
Very clever. Do you think Maude had a hand in these post-its, or is it strictly Ned?
Well, I think that it's Ned. I think it was just a Ned thing more than a collaborative act. So I think it was just Ned on this occasion. Yeah, we get a glimpse of, again, they have a summer home, which is quite an elaborate purchase for a family that are supposed to shy away from riches.
Well, you suggested that you felt that this was in a fictional world, so you're not suggesting that somehow it exists in our world, which is good. So in the fictional world of The Simpsons, whereabouts is this summer house?
I believe we are told, I think it's like a stupidly long place.
Can you flash it up on the screen right now while we're talking?
I certainly can.
Sweet.
I was trying to find it, but every time I type, there's a website called Frinkiac. She's like the Simpsons Google.
No.
And for some reason, whenever I type in a specific quote that I definitely know from an episode, it doesn't show that episode.
Maybe that's the trick. Maybe it's Professor John Frink mucking with you.
Perhaps. I'm on to it now. Where is it? Little Puagmata Squam Setport. That's where they are.
It's a great name. Great name. I wonder what we can find out about this town and whether Maude spent any fun vacations and summers there. Obviously, the boys have been there because of the fishing picture, but who knows how much time Maude spent there. How far away is it, do you think, from Springfield?
I would say it's maybe like an hour's drive. I don't think it's too far away.
What's that based on?
Nothing.
So we don't see time passing. They just drive out and get there.
Yeah, I don't see them getting a summer home too far away. I don't see them wanting to travel too far.
Is this on the beach, as in like the actual sea?
Yes.
Because if so, that gives the game away, doesn't it?
On the coast.
An hour away from the coast?
Yes, perhaps. But then again, the sea is also occasionally seen in Springfield, so maybe they're already on the coast.
It's madness. The whole thing's madness, and we're going to lose our very minds trying to piece this together. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Because this is from the same episode now. They're in the bedroom. The Simpson family are in the house. Marge is making the beds, and Lisa's sat there. She's bored. And there's two single beds in this room. And I'm assuming that this is the holiday room of Maude and Ned, because Maude's photo is over one bed and Ned is over the other. I found it strange that they had single beds while they were on holiday, but they have a double bed when they're in their house. Maybe they top up on their piety when they're on holiday, and they don't want to trouble the baby Jesus during that time.
I would agree. I think that if any family was going to have single beds, it would be the Flanders or the Van Houtens.
For different reasons.
Wildly different reasons.
Exactly. There's an anchor on the wall, continuing the nautical theme, but now that I know it's a beach house, that makes more sense. Lisa has a briefcase, not related to Maude, but I'm interested. Magically, as the camera flips around and Marge is making the bed, the picture changes from one of Maude into Rod and Todd. Spooky.
Yeah, again, this reminded me of Twin Peaks: The Return, when everything's sort of a little bit off. Like I remember there's a scene with a guy sat in a gas station, and sort of the world glitches outside, but only if you look at it properly.
Right.
And it feels a bit like this, like something's glitched. Either that, or it's one of those pictures where you when you turn them and they change. But that seems like an elaborate thing to set up for just a portrait on a wall.
It's really creepy. It's not the kind of thing that the Flanders would go in for. And I was thinking, did we see a time displacement? Because I imagine that the picture of Maude might have arrived after she died. Like they would have a picture of the boys up there, maybe, and then when she died, glitched into Maude, or vice versa. Who knows what went on? But it is very strange.
Yeah.
One thing's for sure, it's not simply a mistake. It was clearly done on purpose.
It must have been. And I think we've already seen Bart and Lisa's room. So I think, this is Homer and Marge's room. I did make a note of the anchor on the wall and said, do we think that she's into sailing in any way?
I can imagine her. She's got the right fashion sense to be a yachter, a sailor. I wouldn't put it past her. You know, the thing is that Neddy is in his 60s, right? And he's lived a pretty conservative life. I imagine he's got some good savings, although that could have been wiped out by the leftorium nonsense. We don't know a lot about Maude's background. Maybe she has some cash saved, or maybe she inherited a lot of cash. You know, does she have any rich aunts and uncles who might have given her a stack of cash that she invested in a beach house and a yacht? I think it's more likely. For me, it's more likely that Maude is the one who pushed for this beach house and the inevitable accompanying yacht.
Perhaps. I think it's more likely that, they inherited either cash or the beach house itself from somebody. So it seems more likely. We've seen Ned's parents and they're quite hippie-ish, and I don't think they would invest in a beach house. They don't seem like that kind of couple. So I would place this on Maude's side somewhere.
Well, we dig into that another time. Here's something that I remembered when we were talking about that picture on the wall. So I made Phil Rigby sent me this clip of a Tim Allen movie. I think it's a Tim Allen movie, right? And you're just watching the clip and he's dancing around the room or whatever, and the painting on the wall blinks. And you know how there's all those kind of like scary ghost things, like the 3 men and a baby kind of thing, right? I've never seen this one mentioned anywhere before. And he said he found it himself when he was watching the movie. And it's weird, the painting on the wall, for no reason, no other reference, just blinks. I'll see if I can find that clip because it was super spooky.
I want to see that. That sounds creepy, like the Wizard of Oz hanging.
That's spooky.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident it's fake at this point.
The Totoro backstory, the weird.
Oh yeah, but in death.
That's spooky. All those kind of spooky stuff.
I do. I like them. I like that kind of stuff.
Whew. But still, we digress. You should all out there listen to some M.R. James and some Lovecraft, and do you fine and read up on your creepypasta. But back on track. Clip 3. French Vizir Detergent commercial. We're in Jacques' territory. I imagine Jacques used this to wash his long johns. Marge is shopping for detergent for her dirty family. We get a shot of them in the supermarket. There's a voiceover. It's in French. He's saying something about bodies. I don't speak French, so I don't know. There's the classic back of head Helen Lovejoy shot, but we get to see a tiny Maude just off in the distance, and she just turns her head, slight turn of the head, classic Maude outfit, shopping in a French version of the Springfield supermarket. That's it.
Yeah, we're still in continuity here as well, because this is the next thing after season 7. So this is the correct placement for this advert in our continuity.
Excellent.
Interesting, because this is sort of what we're on season 7. So this is sort of worldwide Simpsons time, isn't it? Like, this was when it was biggest in England, I would say.
I know they showed Simpsons on Sky in 1990, but I don't think it went into proper full-on terrestrial syndication for like 4 or 5 years after that. So I don't think, like, if you didn't have satellite and cable, which wasn't that popular at the time, if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have been able to see The Simpsons till about season 4, something like that.
Yeah, like the BBC 2 days. From what I can tell just from going on holiday to Europe as a child, not a lot of Simpsons merch. I don't think it hit as hard in Europe as it did in England. But again, so it's strange that France... and probably just cashing in at the time. And strange that, France has a Simpsons commercial. There's quite a few, actually. I'm pretty sure there's a Japanese one, which is strange because they never really made an impact.
Not that well known over here. But here's the thing. I went to Malta on holiday in the year 1997, and I got a T-shirt, a badly drawn Bart Simpson T-shirt I'm sure you've seen, that says, "I'm Bart Simpson, and what the hell are you doing in Malta?" And those kind of rip-off, knock-off T-shirts were everywhere in Spain and all the Mediterranean kind of places. I'm going to take a picture of that shot now because it's brilliant. I love the knockoff Simpsons.
I agree. There's sort of or just like obscure mid-90s Simpsons, like the t-shirt. I think I might have mentioned it before. I got a Titanic Simpsons t-shirt where it's just like Homer and Marge and a couple of other characters like holding onto wood, and the Titanic's like sinking in the background, and there's sort of no reason for it. You wouldn't now make a 9/11 Simpsons t-shirt. Like it's sort of a weird like let's have them all in this part.
Would you? Or would you have
Maybe.
would you have a picture of the Twin Towers collapsing with various Simpsons characters jumping from the windows? Is
Maybe.
that now culturally acceptable? Is that where we're going?
Possibly. Well, it was, what was the Titanic, like 1912, and then this t-shirt's like 96, so still a while to go, but
ample time has passed for the Titanic.
yeah, weirdly, again, probably jumping on the Titanic movie probably came out somewhat recently at that time, but just, cashing in on something where people actually died to plug you, and there I was wearing it as a child.
There was I wearing my Bart Simpson Charlie Don't Surf t-shirt.
Yes, exactly. Simpsons Christmas buggy.
Exactly. Do you know what this commercial is most notable for? A full frontal nude Bart Simpson standing on screen for several seconds.
Yeah, I noticed there's something at the end. I don't know if there's a different one as well where they're all nude. There's something weirdly European going on. Decidedly European.
Decidedly European. So I watched the whole of the commercial because it's only like a minute long, and Bart is kind of they're all kind of, there's some nakedness going on, but Bart just stands there naked. Full frontal, very European. It wouldn't get by the watershed on our watch, would it?
No, that's too modest in England for that kind of child nudity. Savile aside, it's not something that the country's into.
Post-Utri.
Yes.
So
I did make a note that the other woman that's there looks a lot like an adult Jessica Lovejoy.
Yeah, I wondered, like, Maude and Helen make sense that they'd be in there shopping, but unfortunately the clip is not high enough resolution for us to see what they're putting in the trolleys. But hey, why don't you conjecture a little bit, Nathan? What do you think Maude's buying on that day?
I'm assuming, they're not in the detergent aisle because Marge runs to the detergent aisle.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm going to say cereal, bland cereal and some milk. It's all very poochy as well, this mystery woman. It's sort of, why go to the effort of putting in Maude and Helen, and then for the third person, just stop it, just not bothering. It could have easily been. It's a good place for Sarah Wiggum to have popped up, or Luan.
Yes, I think so. There was a missed opportunity there for some Sarah Wiggum, and for Maude to scream, "Je voudrais des cornflakes et du lait."
Exactly.
S'il vous plaît.
The woman who voices Maude in France, obviously not in this commercial, but is called Regine Taysot. So she's a French Roswell.
And apparently she also, mysteriously in season 11, she also demanded that she was given 3,800 extra euros per episode. That was the current rate. Yeah, all of the Maude Flanders actresses got together and they all put the same demand in. But Fox Worldwide, they didn't fall for it and they fired them all.
They fired her and replaced her with Roswell.
But Roswell couldn't, her French wasn't up to scratch and she got fired a second time. But by that time, the media had stopped caring.
Yes.
Clip 4, Virtual Springfield game. We are in Ned's basement. Ned walks in. We got a big statue of a Native American. And there's a Last Supper picture on the wall. Neddy says, "Oh, hi there, stranger. Welcome to the Chateau du Flanders." "Maude, we have a guest," Ned shouts up the stairs, and he stands there with a goofy look on his face waiting. Maude's voice shouts down, "Well, did you offer them lemonade?" Which is very nice of her, fulfilling those social duties. And Ned says, "Oh, fiddly diddly stitches," or some such nonsense, and raises his knee. "Which universe are we in here? What's going on?"
Crazy times. This again is somewhat in line. This game came out a few episodes into season 8. So imagine at this point, we're still continuity-wise. It would have been being developed around the time that we're looking at, so that's why it counts. This, I don't know, it's supposed to be you. You are there isn't a character that you're playing. You are yourself, like touring Springfield. Even as like a child, this game was a wildly dull idea.
Is it Carvella territory?
There's not a lot of things to do on it other than it was just an opportunity. It's like an open world game if there was no gameplay elements at all. So it's just
Springfield sandbox in which there is almost no opportunity for actual interaction with the characters.
Yeah, this is, however, if I'm correct, which I assume I am, the only time we've heard Maude outside of the TV show ever. This is the only thing anywhere in which she has any dialogue, spoken dialogue.
I'll give you that. I don't think I've heard that. In the Simpsons, what's that game called?
Tapped Out.
Tapped Out. In Simpsons Tapped Out, does she not talk and no speaking? There's no one talking that?
Anybody who's voiced by the 5 main, again, which is why it's a bit annoying because you don't get to hear like Milhouse. So anybody who's voiced by Pamela Hayden or Maggie Roswell or any of those characters is silent. So yeah, you don't hear her in. But even if you did, they sort of just use archive. They don't have them come in and record specific dialogue for the game. So
the Tapped Out universe is not big enough to afford to fly in Dan Castanets to do a bit of voiceover.
No, so yeah, this is the only place that she has any dialogue. They never got Roswell to do any of the games after this. They didn't really get any. To be fair, actually, no. Pamela Hayden and Tress McNeil appear in the games quite a lot, but Roswell never appeared in any multimedia Simpsons stuff after this.
Maybe it was just that time. Maybe Roswell was difficult to work with and was constantly demanding her buzz for.
Maybe.
Though I did watch an episode of The Big Bang Theory the other day where it was clear that Lisa Simpson was talking in it, and then I looked and it was Yardley Smith. She appears in one, but has Roswell appeared in any like shows that you know of where she sounds like Maude?
No, I've watched a few clips. She hasn't really appeared in anything live action since maybe like the early 90s that I can see, and a couple of things like the Tracy Ullman show and a variety like Bob Newhart kind of stuff. But I do like watching them because sometimes they do. I'd say the voice that they always sound the most like is Miss Hoover.
Okay. So she goes, Hoover's her go-to, and Maude was just a character. Because I think Maude did develop over the years, right? So it seems like it's not her a natural voice that she would fall into.
No, none of them seem to be a speaking voice, which is good.
I see.
Because I don't think she was necessarily a voice actress before taking this. I think she was just an actress, and she was involved with, like, a few of them were just asked to do the Tracy Ullman stuff and then further asked to do the show when it took off. Because Roswell's in season 1, just Maude isn't in season 1.
I see.
And yeah, I don't know what universe we're in because, yeah, as I said, and then got distracted, we're playing as ourselves. So Ned is talking directly to you, and Maude is asking, has Ned offered you lemonade? It's not like you're playing as Homer. And so, yeah, what happened to No Sugar, though? This is like the 4th or 5th time we've seen her with lemonade or interacting with it.
Yeah, I think we just got to go with the Rod Diabetes theory that she's okay with sugar outside. And again, I think she was angry with the Simpsons because either she'd hidden it and she was feeling, stressed and embarrassed, or maybe they knew about that and she was annoyed that they'd offered. But, things are okay with sugar for herself. Maybe evidence is there, Buzz Caller, etc. Maybe she doesn't seem to have a problem with offering sugar to other people.
Yeah, seems at the time if she'd have just said to Lisa and Marge, "Oh no, Rod's diabetic," it would have been a lot easier and less aggressive. But she just angrily. But again, she could be frustrated because they already know Rod's diabetic. That's why she's so irritable when she says no sugar.
I think that's
it's nice. Her first thought is to take care of this guest. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be, she hasn't seen who's at the door. It could be Snake, could be Sideshow Bob, could be Lunch Lady Doris, any of these people, and she's just saying, "Come on in, have some lemonade."
That is the Maude Flanders we know and love. She offers those arms of welcome and love to all and sundry, and then only once she's seen your face will she judge you, regardless.
Yeah, yes. She doesn't judge off voice alone, even though she also hasn't heard your voice. There's nothing in this room, because you can the only thing you can do on this game is click on things, and it'll zoom in, so you can click on the TV and flip through the channels, and they're all blocked because of the episode where we saw them all blocked. And
yes.
you press something on the wall and the couch disappears and opens up like a secret chamber that's like got an altar and a couple like a secret church. So that's the third secret room in this house.
Hold on. So you're suggesting that in this universe, and let's assume that in all universes, they not only have the bunker and the panic room and the Beatles room and this kind of like bar area, but they also have a secret altar / church in their house.
Seems that way, and I'm on board with saying this is our regular universe because it's not. There's no reason for it not to be. Like there's nothing wildly different other than that altar. But again, they seem to have a house that is just full of panic rooms, secret rooms everywhere.
Secret rooms everywhere, and that seems very in keeping with Maudeline. Do you think she's got more secret rooms that even nobody knows about?
There's definitely the ice cream room somewhere in this house, and that Burnsy obviously knows about somehow. No, because they have an attic as well. So it's quite a. We're talking about like 4 stories worth of rooms there.
They've got basements and sub-basements, and the sub-basements are where all the real mischief goes on.
Yeah, it is a Scooby-Doo style house where, you know, you can look through that picture. There's things hidden behind pictures on the walls. I'm pretty sure there's a safe hidden behind something at some point. So it wouldn't surprise me that maybe that cupboard where Maude has all of her shoes and her clothes, if you turn a shoe a certain way, there's maybe a little door behind that cupboard, a little chiller room where she can eat her ice cream in peace.
Splendid.
I was going to say that wraps up all of season 7, which has taken us a full 11 episodes to cover, as opposed to, I think, season 3 took us maybe 2 or 3 episodes to cover the entire season. So we're fully in the world where Maude is a recurring character.
We are deep, knee-deep in Maude River. But there is one more little thing to talk about that you tagged on the end of the video you sent me, which is a Virtual Springfield character card, a 10-bit Maude, I described it as. It's not quite 8-bit. She's a bit more defined. Classic outfit, weird, big, toothless smile. She is the number 13. And she's got this weird kind of like beckoning hand where her arm is down by her side, but instead of the arm facing, you know, seeing the thumb or even maybe the back of the hand, you see the front of her hand almost subconsciously beckoning you into this number 13. Lots of hidden symbolism. What's going on here?
Yeah, I think it's obviously, I think you collect these cards. Again, one of the only things you can do on this game. I think there's about 70 of them in the game, so makes sense why Maude is in there. Why she's so high up on the list, I'm assuming, is just because they went, maybe, you know, at this point you think the Simpsons, and then maybe you just think geographically, okay, like the Flanders are next door, let's do them next, etc. But yeah, Maude being number 13, it would have only been more significant if she'd been one of the numbers from Lost for this podcast, but sadly not. She's a few out. Does it count? It is a face-forward Maude, isn't it? Even though she's slightly
I'll give it
wonky.
you. I'll give it to you for sure.
And I found it strange that, as far as I can tell, you don't see her in game. So this is the only visual element in Virtual Springfield of Maude. You don't actually see her walking around, I don't think.
And it's weird that she would be such a high number.
Yeah, 13 out of 72. But again, I'm just guessing that's because of convenience rather than somebody pushing for a Maude prominence, because they would have probably pushed a bit harder and put her in the game somewhere.
Once again, there was nobody fighting in Maude's corner. Truly the underdog.
Just Roswell, and we all know what happened there.
Yes, found eyes poked out in a dumpster on the outskirts of Colorado, but she's scraped her way back in, and now she's at least 3rd tier.
Yes, exactly.
But now we've arrived here, and that was a good discussion to have on in the car while we're driving to the Flandball Stadium. And now we're here, so let we just have a little bit of a picnic here with some non-fat, unflavored ice milk. Would you like some?
No.
More for me.
I'm going to eat this raw onion.
Oh, it's a strange choice. How about some Flanders style nacho, some cucumber and cottage cheese?
No.
All right, well, let's just sit here in silence and eat this food.
Yum.
A bit bland.
This onion's okay.
You bit into it like a raw apple.
Yes.
Like you're on some kind of Darren Brown show.
That's the only way to really eat an onion.
I'm going to put a gallon of hot sauce, Uncle Rex's triple sock blower hot sauce all over this. Glug, 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 glug. Oh, blinking heck, that's hot. Have you got out for a drink?
No.
All right, let's leave it here. Let's leave this stuff here just as garbage, and let's go through these bushes. Oh, look, we're in here, all Flandball, and you can see all Flandball is all flanding over there.
Oh, yeah, this is a good view, but I would like to sit further back.
All right, let's make our way to our seats. But while we do that, let's do some spookulations. I've got 10 questions here. I'm going to fire them at you, and you can take as long or as little time to answer these as you like. Let's indulge ourselves. It's the last episode of the season.
Let's do it.
Number 1. Who is the great-grandparent Ginger?
She is Maude's dad's grandma, and they don't really know a lot about her. She's very quiet. She just shushes people a lot.
Shusher, eh?
Yeah, that's all they really know about her. That's all Maude knows anyway. Next question, please.
What is Kez? Maude has an uncle, Kez. What is Kez short for?
Kestrel. Next question, please.
How many of Garrett's illegitimate children are leg disabled?
Only 3. One of them has too many legs. One of them has one leg and a robot leg, and one of them just has a fear of legs. Next question, please.
What were the highlights of Maude's and Janice's post-Bible camp trip to the Shoe Museum in Pennsylvania? And do they have plans to go on any other trips to the one in Seattle, Toronto, Belgium, or the Philippines?
Her favourite bit was buying a new set of shoes at the end in the shoe shop, and they have no current plans to visit anymore because she's dead. Next question, please.
What do we know about her friends from Bible camp, Tish, Lamar, and Crandall?
We know that they like to sing, and that's where Maude found her singing confidence. And they're all old, much older than Maude, but they took her under their wing. Next question, please.
Did Maude have some kind of sales job for a small time, such as in makeup or pharmacy?
Yes, for 2 years selling Bibles and makeup. Next question, please.
Who is Aunt Tatiana? Is she a Goodman or a Turnbull?
She's a Turnbull, and she's a loose cannon. Next question, please.
On the Grand Canyon trip, there was quite like Marge woman, haven't been seen childhood granddad and Laurie and the boys emotionally lost. Choke out another cat.
Yeah, next question, please.
Number 9, Maude's grandparents from Native American descent? ?
Correct. Maternal, yes. Well, maternal grandmother, yes. That's where the Native Americanness comes in. And maternal grandfather, probably descendant of a colonial. So sort of rooted in America deeply, but just on the maternal side. Last question, I believe.
Tell us the story of Magdalena's 4th leg.
It grew. She went for when you can sign up to be a guinea pig for science. She went for something completely unrelated, and just one of the side effects was that she grew 4 extra legs, but 3 of them were on her back, so she had them lasered off and just kept the leg. But it was unrelated. It was something to do with neck strength. That's why she was there, and it just took a turn. The end, I think.
It's too bad she couldn't start some kind of leg farm, growing legs for disadvantaged leg children, like some of her illegitimate grandchildren.
Well, maybe she donated those 3 back legs. That's always a possibility.
Well, now we've found our seats at the Flandball contest. It's looking so much fun. But look, who's turned up in front of us? Oh, gosh darn it. It's only bloody Stamp, Isabelle Rossellini, Statman, Envelope, and Ergen all in front of us. What are you lot doing here?
We're here to watch you lose the Flandball competition. The people you bet on, the Maude team.
I hope that you fall off even edge of here and get your skull crushed. And I hope everything that you put your money on gets burned in heck forever. Give me some more pills, John. Oh, I think you should calm down a bit, Stamp. You've already had a bag full today. Oh, you mean bloody mother now. Give me some more pills. Listen, Nathan, I can't deal with this nonsense. Listen, I'm going to go and buy some T-shirt cannon flavored Kit Kats. Do you want a regular size one or a big, long slender King Kong size one?
No King Kongs.
Oh, I know they make us all feel uncomfortable, so I'm just going to go and get some.
I'll just put some headphones in and ignore these knobheads in front of us.
I'm back. Here, I didn't get you the King Kong one because I know it makes you feel very comfortable,
Thanks.
which in turn makes you feel discomfort.
Yes, British.
Yeah, 4 of them cans of baked beans this way. Oh, bloody hell, John. They're throwing out cans of Aldi Netto Pound Smasher baked beans. Those are 4 pence each. Oh, that's brilliant. If we stock up on them, we could spend some more money on Sherms. Oh, that's bloody good, innit? Throw 'em over here, throw 'em over here. Oh, look, Stamp, you have dropped a big bag of pills and some Sherms all over the floor. Shall we all go and pick 'em up?
Quick, bend down.
Yeah!
Look out.
Crunch!
Oh dear. Not only have the beans spilled all over everything, I think Brendan's fallen off the edge of the stadium. What a twist. You did this. All of you did this. Stamp. Well, I think he's probably dead. Quite a long drop. So while Stamp and Isabella figure out how to use that phone and ring an ambulance, I'll just do a diary. I brought it with me for entertainment. And today's page is this.
Dear diary, today I was in the kitchen being very pixely and doing some pixely washing up. And then Ned shouted from the basement of all places to tell me that we had a strange visitor. So I just asked him, had he made any lemonade? Because I had just made some. And then I wanted to show him up a little bit, just to make me look like the better one to this stranger. And Ned said, oh, fiddlesticks, nope, I'm gonna go and get some. So Ned came up and got some lemonade, and I said, who the heck have you just let in our house? And why? And Ned said, oh, I don't know, they were just stood in the basement already when I went down there. And I said, well, that's a bit weird, isn't it? We shouldn't let them out until we know more information. So I put a bit of extra sugar in the lemonade to make them a bit bouncy and hyperactive. And Ned brought the lemonade to our guests and sat them down on the couch. And I pressed the secret button and got them all sucked into our altar room where we're currently keeping them. And I'm going to keep them just for the rest of the day to find out exactly who they are and why they're in my house. But if they answer enough questions correctly, I'll give them this card of me with the number 13 on it. And Rod's had another growth spurt, so we're going to have to throw out all of his pants. The end.
You're right, it was a good diary entry. Thank you. Sure, let's do a song. You. Maude's only out-of-show speaking appearance to date. Flanders summer home. She vanishes. Maude in France. Established enough for funnier lines. Toilet water. Bowling bombardment. Meat eater Jebediah. Something about Sonny Bobo. And now it's over. It's over. The season's over, except for the special cast next week, which we'll bring in our 2 cousins to do, as always. And it's going to be about Lunch Lady Doris. I'm just going to wait here for the CPR, see if that does anything. They've got those electric things out now where you zap people. So if that doesn't work, then we'll look into something else for season 4. But yeah, thanks for listening. Rest in peace. Goodbye from both of us.